Drew Brees, ladies and gentlemen, is in some hot water. That's right. The reason why he's in some hot water are some comments he made on social media on how the NFL should respond if players decide to take a knee in this upcoming NFL season. As you know, Colin Kaepernick, became certainly more popular as a human being when he decided to take a knee, and then other players followed. My opinion has not changed. It didn't offend me what Colin Kaepernick did. It didn't offend me when players decided to take a knee. My reaction has been the same, and it remains the same. He hasn't done anything. And when I say that to African Americans, their response to me is, well, he was raising awareness. If you're one of those people in society that is not aware before Colin Kaepernick took a knee that there are issues with minorities in law enforcement, then you are a fool, an ignorant person, or a racist, or maybe all of the above. Raising awareness is not going to change anything in this country. We have to change laws, and we have to change the way police speak to and deal with everyone, including minorities. Colin Kaepernick has not done anything to help that issue. Now, that has always been my opinion, and it'll stay my opinion. But I want to talk about Drew Brees.
I'll tell you something else that is not going to help that. Is hunting down and killing police officers and ambushing them and attacking them all over the country in the name of police brutality. That is not going to help any type of relationship between one specific race and police officers. In fact, it's going to take that relationship and it's going to take steps back in that relationship.
Okay, but that's a different subject. Right now, the reason why we're talking about Colin Kaepernick has nothing to do with the protest. We're talking about Colin Kaepernick in relation to the American flag and what Drew Brees said. So this is Drew Brees right now on how the NFL should respond if players take a knee in this upcoming NFL season. Have a listen to this.
Well, I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country. Let me just tell you what I see or what I feel when the national anthem is played and when I look at the flag of the United States. I envision my two grandfathers who fought for this country during World War II, one in the Army and one in the Marine Corps, both risking their lives to protect our country and to try to make our country and this world a better place. So every time I stand with my hand over my heart, looking at that flag and singing the national anthem, that's what I think about.
All right, so here's my response to that. First of all, if you noticed in that statement, he's entitled to his opinion. He said, me, I. That's what the American flag should be. It shouldn't be about somebody telling somebody else how you should feel about the American flag. I look at the American flag as I look at religion. It's a personal preference. Everyone feels differently, and it's your right to feel differently. Now, with that being said, you're not allowed to burn the American flag. You're not allowed to, desecrate the flag. And by the way, I support that law. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. With that being said, Drew Brees, in my personal opinion, showed horrific judgment during a time throughout the country when we have protests in every state and we're talking about race. Whether you agree or disagree with what's going on in this country right now, Drew Brees showed really a lot of stupidity, in my personal opinion. It'd be one thing if he said this at another time, and I still think some of his teammates would have a problem with it. Saying it now, Drew Brees, what the hell were you thinking? You're only going to get backlash from this. And by the way, don't tell me personally how I should feel about the American flag because you feel a certain way. You're entitled to your opinion. That's your opinion. Not everybody thinks the way Drew Brees thinks. That's number one. Okay, and number two, you knew he was going to get backlash from this. So this is teammate Malcolm Jenkins, who told Brees to shut the F up. He took that video down and posted a new one. Here it is.
Drew Brees, if you don't understand how hurtful, how insensitive your comments are, you are part of the problem. To think that because your grandfathers served in this country and you have a great respect for the flag, that everybody else should have the same ideals and thoughts that you do is ridiculous. And it shows that you don't know history. Because when our grandfathers fought for this country and served, and they came back, they didn't come back to a hero's welcome.
Let me tell you something. Malcolm Jenkins, You are 150% right. And Drew Brees did apologize. It's not enough. Former NBA player and friend of George Floyd, Steven Jackson, did a live interview on CNN yesterday. He wasn't so nice. He used other words to describe Drew Brees. Have a listen to this.
As intelligent as Drew Brees is, how is he still that naive? Like, all that's going on, all the protests, and you still don't understand why Kaepernick kneeled. It has nothing to do with the flag. Like, I don't like Drew Brees is an intelligent guy, but he looked real retarded by saying that.
Okay, so that's a very colorful way of speaking your mind. But that's Steven Jackson, who is also, may I remind you, was involved in the malice at the Palace. All right, so let me just briefly say this, JD, and then I'm going to go to you.
He did definitely attack somebody in a basketball game.
Yeah. So let me just say this, and then I'll go to you, JD, and get your thoughts on this. Okay. I'll say it again. Drew Brees showed horrific judgment, not only to say this, period, but to say it now at a time like this. The flag is like religion. It is a personal – everyone has a different feeling on what that flag represents to them, and they have a right to feel that way. That's what makes this country great. But Drew Brees was trying to basically say everybody should feel like the way I feel like, and he puts out this video. Completely inappropriate, horrible timing. And again, I'm going to call out Laura Ingraham once again, the racist witch. She tells LeBron James to shut up and dribble. She did that, ladies and gentlemen. But when it comes to Drew Brees, let's hear Drew Brees out. Geez, I wonder why. Because Laura Ingraham is a racist witch. I'm going to open up the phone lines at 702-257-5396. Again, that number if you want to be a part of the conversation, 257-5396. Your thoughts on Drew Brees. Do you think it's fair for teammates going after him? Do you think he should have apologized? Or do you have no problem with what he said? Again, that number to call, 257-5396. JD, what do you make of all this?
I can finally talk. That's exciting. Okay, I think that the American flag, disrespecting the American flag, is dividing the country, and I am so tired of every single. The only reason I use the word African American is because I have to, and I don't want to. I want to use the word American for everyone, whether you are white, black, Asian, or Hispanic. And I am so tired of identity politics, and I completely agree with Drew Brees. I think that kneeling and disrespecting the flag is completely inappropriate, especially during a setting like a professional football game, which is supposed to be a break from politics and a break from your everyday life. It's sports. It's all about the fans and experiencing just watching these two teams play the game. It's not about injecting politics into sports. That's not what sports should be all about, Brian. And all of these athletes have their own platforms to do whatever they want to. If they want to be involved in social justice, they can promote that on every single platform that they have. They have TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and their own websites and their endorsements and public appearances. They don't have to do it there. But now, do I agree that, okay, Drew Brees' grandfathers, that's fine. They fought in the Army. And Malcolm Jenkins is right. In some cases, they were not returned to a warm welcome. But in Malcolm Jenkins, in Malcolm Jenkins' defense, his great grandfathers may have been slaves. And so, by that same logic, you can look at it both ways, and that doesn't really make Drew Brees look very good in that regard. But I am very, very tired of citizens of the United States of America not identifying as Americans, and I think that it is literally destroying the country and completely tearing us apart. So I have no problem with what Drew Brees said as far as disrespecting the flag, because when you disrespect the flag, you disrespect the country, and you divide the country. And that's not what we should be doing. Because when you divide the country, things like this, like what's been happening for the last week, take place, Brian.
I think a lot of people would argue with you that when players are taking a knee, it has nothing to do with disrespecting the flag, and it has everything to do with raising awareness. From day one, I've said I don't think what these players are doing are going to make a difference. So I don't necessarily support what they are doing. And I think if the NFL says you can't do it, that's their employer. They have a right to say that. Exactly. But I want to get to the phone calls. I'm just saying that a lot of these players would argue with you it has nothing to do with disrespecting the flag. That's not why they're doing it. 702-257-5396 is the number to call, and I stand by my opinions. I think Drew Brees showed horrendous judgment to make a video like that now.
And I'll go on about Laura Ingraham. Obviously, I mean, this was probably the last straw. She's clearly racist, because she did call out LeBron James for getting involved in politics, and she said, shut up and dribble. And Drew Brees is Caucasian. It happened with Nipsey Hussle. It happened with Kobe Bryant. Now it's happened with Drew Brees. He is Caucasian, and she is now saying, well, yeah, I'll hear you out. And to me, it's pretty clear at this point that she is most likely a racist.
Well, we definitely agree on that. Again, that number 257-5396. Let's start off with Ira. Ira, you're first up on the Vegas take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Ira?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing okay.
So, this is what I like to say about this. All right, Brees has his own right to say what he wants. But as a kid, when I was a little kid, I was taught to respect the flag, stand up for my heart on the chest. And that's what's happening now. Now I'm teaching our kids to respect the flag and show the history of the flag. Okay? Now, Kaepernick, I understand what he was doing and everything, but at that time, and since I've known before that happened, you always stand for the flag and put your hand over the heart. He could have done something else, something differently. He could do when they do a press conference or something like that to get his point across. Now, he was misunderstood. I understand what he was trying to do. I understand that. But that's how I think. Our kids now, they aren't teach about respecting the flag anymore. My father died for my country, you know?
All right, so let me respond to that. Appreciate the service that your family put forth to this country and the sacrifices. But I hope that you would understand this. To me, again, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. The flag and how people feel about the flag is just like religion. It's a personal choice, and I don't think it should be upon anybody to say
you have to. On me.
All right. Well, I didn't hang up on you for starters.
No, but usually you do after you talk. You hang up on me. So please.
Okay.
Don't.
Well, sir, we do a radio show, and usually there's a lot of people on hold. And do you not understand how to radio
I've
show?
done this for 2 weeks now. You're always hanging up on me. So go ahead.
All right. Hang up on this guy. Hang up on him. Goodbye. You don't tell us what to do. I was more than happy to keep you on the line. You don't tell us what to do, sir.
I can understand him not wanting you to hang up on him if he's in the middle of a thought. But to say, like, don't hang up on me because I want, 10, 15 minutes on the air? I don't.
Well,
that entitlement attitude doesn't fly here, buddy.
You're not going to be entitled when you call into the show, sir. And by the way, for the record, I was more than glad to keep you on the line and have a conversation. But you're not going to give me that attitude here. Now, I will still respond to what you said and say the American flag is a personal choice of how you feel. Nobody is going to tell me how I feel about the American flag. Nobody's going to tell me what I have to do. It's just like religion.
I think one of the mistakes that Drew Brees made is when he brought up the fact that his grandfather they both served one in the Army, one in the Marine Corps. Well, I mean, a lot of African Americans across the country, their great grandfathers. I mean, if you want to go down the ancestor route, they were literally slaves. And I think when you bring up that argument, you're going to get that backlash almost immediately. And that's in my opinion where he made the mistake. But clearly he doesn't care. He respects the American flag, so do I. And as the last caller just said, we are taught at a young age to stand up with our hand over our heart, and when the national anthem is playing, that's how we take our moment of silence for the appreciation of the country.
And you're entitled to do that. But others, unless the NFL says you can't, people are entitled to do what they want unless your employer tells you can't do that. But as far as that caller is concerned, we will continue to hang up on you if you continue to be entitled calling into this show. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Don't hang up on me. Don't hang up on me. Click. All right, let's go to Dave. Dave, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Hey guys. To me, just listening to the two sports figures, there's no difference between one saying one thing. He was bringing his belief, and then the basketball players bringing his belief.
I agree. I agree with you.
And it's just where is football, whenever all that stuff happened, and I thought it was very disrespectful. They could have found another avenue to show whatever they're trying to show, and it's just I know I had the football package. I canceled it. I stopped watching pro football.
No, Dave, I know you're not the only one.
I started watching it. But I started watching it again. They stopped showing it. Part of that was the media where they were showing it. It's in your face.
Dave, I understand where you're coming from.
I prefer college football anyhow, and I'll watch.
Sure.
These guys are trying versus these super rich athletes.
All right, two things, Dave. I want you to – Dave, hang on the line. Two things I want to ask you, okay? First of all, I'm not talking about the violence in these protests. I'm not talking about the bad actors. Do you have a problem with a Black Lives Matter protest that is not violent, that is peaceful?
Part of it. Okay, here's what nobody ever brings up. I grew up in the inner city in Pittsburgh as a young child, And no one ever brings, and my dad happened to be a cop. And what nobody ever brings up was I wonder what the statistics are of
Dave, that's not what I asked you.
I don't care. No, but
Dave,
I don't care what race.
Why can't you just answer? Dave, with all due respect, you're not answering my question. I'll ask it again. Do you have a problem with Black Lives Matter's protests that are peaceful, where nobody gets hurt and there's no violence? Do you have a problem with Black Lives Matter protests in general that are peaceful?
As long as they're not interfering with my personal life. Getting on the freeway, blocking the road.
Yeah,
there's no part in
Fair
that.
enough. Okay, I agree.
I totally agree with that, Dave. I have zero problem whatsoever with a lawful protest.
Okay, good.
Whether it's Black Lives Matter or any organization whatsoever.
Fair enough.
But if you're in the middle of the street, I mean, I saw a video of yesterday where a woman was in front of a SWAT truck. And she was trying to get the SWAT truck out of the way.
So we agree.
To prevent the SWAT truck from driving to its destination, which I'm sure was to handle some type of business.
JD, we
and
agree.
The cop got out.
I understand.
Went around and pepper sprayed her,
Yes.
and then she complained about it.
We agree. I don't agree with protesters blocking the streets either, Dave. Are we still on the line,
But
Dave?
lawful protest, totally fine.
I wanted to ask Dave another question. And the other question I wanted to ask Dave was, okay, we agree, and I'm glad we all agree on that there's nothing wrong with a nonviolent protest. With that being said, the other question I was going to ask is, can't we all agree that the timing of Drew Brees doing this was poor judgment? That is what I was going to ask Dave, and I was going to hope that he was going to agree on that. But we'll move on to the next caller. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin, you're next on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up, Kevin?
Hey, guys. I guess one of my things that was kind of funny to me was JD, you were saying now you're saying Corey Abrams is more than likely racist. And then, was it Brian, you were saying you don't understand or you don't like that people take a knee to get awareness of racial injustice.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. That's not what I said. I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I don't think it's going to do anything to help their cause. That's what I said. Okay. There's a difference.
Right. So it doesn't. If you don't know about it, then you must be living under a rock. Correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you have a lot of Americans that are sitting up here wondering what's the problem? Why are they doing this? Why is Kaepernick doing all these different things? And everybody's forming an opinion. Meanwhile, the NFL went nuts. Donald Trump jumped in for gas on a fire, and then everybody started picking sides and going, well, listen, you cannot say that, and even in sports, that an African-American football players are not expected to just shut up and run or shut up and dribble.
I never said that.
Okay, but I'm just saying, but it's just funny how if you want people to be, if you want people to get people's attention, what do you want us to do, Rick? You want us to put our hand on.
All right, let me respond to that. Let me respond to that. Kevin, hang on the line. It's a fair question. Let me respond to that. The football players, as you know, work for the NFL. They work for the owners. They get paid through the owners, okay? If the NFL and your employer says, we don't want you to do that, when you're not working, you can do whatever the hell you want. But at a football game, we're asking you not to do that because we feel like we're losing money. They have the right to tell you not to do that. I mean, do you understand that?
No, also, now this is the other thing. The football teams also requested that if during the national anthem that we not have to come out, correct? And then what did the NFL say? They cannot do that. They have to come out.
Okay, so here's
no oath to say.
Okay, so I'm just trying to be. I understand, sir, but I'm just trying to be clear with you. I don't have a problem with the players kneeling. I wasn't offended by it.
Okay, but I'm just. They even tried to negotiate with the NFL and the people and tell you we don't want to come out for the national anthem. The national anthem was put up there just to draw up more support for the military and the way of life of America. But it was not a normal thing. It's become more and more an issue now. Okay. And it's a matter of, if you guys want to do that during the games, you're fine to do it. But the football players that don't want to do that, or we don't respect
it is no different. Okay, here's what you need to understand, Kevin. Here's what you need to, Kevin. Here's what you need to understand. It is no different that if you had an office job, and if you wore a shirt that says Black Lives Matter. Now, I personally wouldn't have a problem with it, but if your boss told you, "I'm not comfortable with you wearing that shirt. Do not wear that shirt. Wear it inside out. Don't bring it to work again."
You kept
Hold on.
wearing it.
If I just finish, and if you wore it the next day, they would have a right to fire you. That is the way this country works. Now, on the other side of things, if you want to wear that shirt in public on a public street, or you want to take a knee on a public street, or hold a protest, you're allowed to do that.
And one of the reasons why that this is frowned upon in the NFL is because it's actually hurting the bottom line. It's hurting the ratings because it's making the even if it's not true, it's making it look like these teams aren't really teams, like they're not really together. And then you do have a lot of people across the country who are in the military currently or who served in the military who find it extremely disrespectful when you do kneel during the national anthem. And that's these owners doing it. This is private enterprise. They have the right to make any rules they want to make. If you are hurting their bottom line, they can fire you. They can. And in the case of Colin Kaepernick, he wasn't that good of a quarterback anyways. He led the league in fumbles the year before all this happened. Is it a surprise that as his career was on the downswing that he made that he decided to do this? I don't think so. I think it's very coincidental at all.
I've talked about that ad nauseum. I don't want to go there again, but I want to focus.
Well, I want to talk sports for 15 seconds.
No,
Brian, because all we talk about is this.
Well, that's really not sports.
And Colin Kaepernick was not a very good quarterback, and the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. Keeping somebody like that in the locker room didn't make sense for a lot of NFL owners.
Yeah, like I said, I've covered that ad nauseum, and I want to focus on Drew Brees though, and because that's really what we're talking about here. I thought he made really bad judgment to do that at this time. I thought he made a mistake in doing that. I don't have a problem with his teammates going after him. I don't think he's retarded, as Steven Jackson said. I think Steven Jackson could have used a better term. But let's go back to the phone line, 702-257-5396, and now let's go to Mario. Mario, you're next on the Vegas Take. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, guys, and this is my question for JD, is that do you feel in any way he was being racist or biased by any chance when he made those comments?
Not at all.
No. I mean, I understand, he wasn't being racist. I mean, but in another sense, I mean, when Donald Trump blackballs or helped blackballs Kaepernick, it's like no one, everyone forgot about it.
He called players sons of bitches. Let's remind people. The President of the United States, what you're talking about, sir, called those players kneeling sons of bitches. That is a problem, and that is a disgrace, and I'm sure you'll agree with that.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's the leader of the free world, and he's sitting there. We're focusing on Drew Brees, who is an NFL player. He made a bad judgment. He was standing up for America,
correct.
Which is totally fine. Right now we do have an issue with people being racist. Racism is the real issue. If someone words something, I don't believe Drew Brees in the bottom of his heart is racist.
No, not even close.
If you look at Donald Trump, he's racist. And Drew Brees, he might take some heat for, wording some things wrong. But to flat out label him a racist or...
No, I'm not doing that.
I think the only person that was exposed as a racist as far as being a national figure in the last 24 hours is Laura Ingraham. Because it was, I mean, you can't say that one person's opinion is invalid and another person's opinion is when one of those is
right.
white and the other one is black. I don't think what Drew Brees said at all was racist, nor do I think his intentions were racist.
And this guy agrees with you, but what he's saying is the president's racist, and I'll take it a step further. He called these players sons of bitches. What has Donald Trump ever used that verbiage when it comes to white supremacy? The answer is no, and I think that's where this caller is coming from. That's why others feel that way, and that's why I feel that way. I wish he would use that same anger in calling NFL players that take a knee sons of bitches as he would towards white supremacists and Klan members.